Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Women's Empower Network with another amazing interview. And today we have Joanna with us, and she has been on quite the journey. But before we get started, Joanna was sharing with me that she'd like to share a breathing technique to get us all present and centered. So, Joanna, if you want to start with that, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much for having me. Welcome, welcome. If you want to just connect your bottom to your seat, and if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. You can also keep them open. We can count our count of 4 on our fingertips if you need a counter. So just settle into your seat. Arrive in the space where you are. The smells around you, the sounds around you. Notice where you're connected to your seat. Notice your feet and their connection to the ground beneath you. Take a deep breath. Let it out. We're going to do box breath, which means we're going to inhale for a count of 4. We're going to hold that breath for a count of 4. And then we will exhale that breath for a count of 8. This stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system. So when you're ready, with your hands in your lap, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to let you do that 3 times at your own pace. When you're ready, just come into a subtle breath and gently flutter your eyes open. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I so needed that. So, what got you into this type of work? What was your journey that brought you to this?
Thank you. My name's Joanna, if I didn't already say that. I'm a cancer coach, consultant. I was diagnosed with triple positive breast cancer in 2013 at the age of 37. I was married. I had a son. He was in 3rd grade. I was devastated. I thought I was going to die. And it took me about a month to pull my feet underneath me. And I made a decision that I had to see my son fall in love, have a life, kids, whatever. And that really pulled me out of that experience and kind of got me on my road. Yeah.
Well, it's very powerful to have a why, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then on that road of cancer, so I was going to chemo. My first chemo treatment, I was actually allergic to it, which happens, right? And I had to be resuscitated.
Oh my.
And my body remembered that experience. And the next week I showed up for my chemo treatment, I had a full on panic attack entering the hospital. I had never had a panic attack before. And so the doctor prescribed me a medication to then take every week, an hour before I arrived at the hospital, which meant that, I had to have someone travel with me. So after that experience, I decided I was going to learn a new way to calm my nervous system and a new mindset for how to sit through the 5 hours of chemo. I wanted to change my brain, change my mind, and create a brain for beating cancer, basically.
So it sounds like each step of the way, it was making a decision. The first one being that you wanted to see your son fall in love. The
Yeah.
second one was that how your experience at the hospital was going to go.
Yeah.
And what was the next step after that? Because clearly, because you mentioned before we got on the line that you had cancer 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Over the last decade.
Yep. I was halfway through my treatment, so I finished chemo, and then I took some time off. I decided to do a 10-day silent meditation retreat. And that also helped me build the tools that I now teach women and their caretakers. Went to radiation afterwards and decided to have my skin checked out at a dermatologist and found out that I also had skin cancer. So halfway through my breast cancer treatment, I also went through skin cancer treatment. So yeah, a lot of the tools that I am teaching bring us back to our center. I feel like cancer can sometimes, for me, meant that I was out of alignment with how I cared for myself, how I loved myself, because I didn't love myself. I didn't care for myself. And I never put my needs above anyone else's, which I'm learning now has a lot to do with codependency. But a lot of what I do is bringing myself back to myself, expanding my capacity to hold pain and to hold grief and to allow it to move through my body instead of positivity, like, okay, this will all be over soon. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Embracing the emotions that arise, holding space for those emotions, honoring those emotions. They're sacred. Your soul is sacred. This is a sacred container to hold the grief because it's daily grief. It doesn't just happen right when you are diagnosed, it's happening every single day. The grief of not being able to show up for your family, the grief of not being able to show up for yourself, the grief of having to ask for help, the grief of seeing people around you grow and learn and be and do. And I didn't feel like I had the strength to do those things. The grief of perhaps this is your last days on the planet. Who knows? Who knows? There's just so much grief from so many places, and we're all so different, and we all experience grief in such different ways. So, this container is a safe place for you to feel your grief, and you learn the tools of how to move through that grief, alchemize it, find your medicine that you were born with, because we were all born with this innate wisdom. And this container allows you to tap into your own wisdom. You know what you need to feel better for you. And so all of these tools bring you closer to you.
That's so beautiful. So if you don't mind sharing, what were some of the things that you learned in your journey that your innate wisdom was telling you?
Self acceptance, accepting all of my flaws, loving, nurturing all of me, not just a part of me, not what I thought that everyone else needed to see and hear. Um, Loving my messiness. I can be kind of messy. And instead of fighting it, I'm embracing it and loving it. Um, the tool of self reflection, awareness, time with self. One of the first things that I do is I ask, and I get to know my client, what brings you the most joy? When was your most joyful moment of your life? And we kind of go from there and we find out natural things that don't cost any money. You know, we're not talking about hair salons and painted nails, which, if that brings you joy, then awesome. But it doesn't necessarily have to cost any money. And I listen to what you have to say about your most joyful moment of your whole life, which perhaps will bring you to tears. And that emotion, that's the salve for our grief. And that is the energy that fuels the next step. We get to talk to ourselves. Ourselves are listening to everything that we think and feel. And we get to retrain our brain to create the most beautiful environment for those cells to thrive and to do what they need to do to eradicate the cancer. And I'm not saying that this can necessarily cure cancer, but it can certainly change your entire life while you are still here.
Yes, there's been many studies. The one that comes to mind is Dr. Bruce Lipton, who studies epigenetics, and you change the environment of the cells and the cells change.
I read that book
The biology of belief.
when I was first diagnosed, and it changed my whole life. Yeah.
There you go. We are so much more powerful beyond our understanding. And
Mhm.
it's a shame that it's not a shame. It was a gift
Mhm.
that brought you to this new way of being, this new level of being, and a new level of awareness, and that now you can share that with others. That is just really beautiful.
Thank you. I do see it as a gift. I think that it's the best thing that ever happened to me because it connected me with gratitude and the power of gratitude. I don't know that I really knew what gratitude was before I hit this bottom, being faced with my mortality. And gratitude is another tool that we use and learn to work into our daily routine.
It is like you said, before the cancer, you were there busy serving everybody else and not yourself. And
Yeah.
and that it sounded like that the self didn't even count.
No. Yeah.
And it takes a toll after a while.
It really does. It really does. Hmm.
Well, what keep coming to mind is it's kind of like flipping a light switch and seeing cancer as something to be feared, but to see it as a gift and an opportunity to change the way you've been being in the world. It's almost
Absolutely.
sounds like a wake-up call.
Yeah. Yeah. And I work with women who are so ready to wake up and to take control of a very scary situation. Because you can control how you think and feel, how we treat our emotions. We have the ability to expand our capacity to hold our emotions. And this expands our capacity to feel and use our medicine.
That is so beautiful. So what words of wisdom or suggestions would you give someone who may just be starting out on this journey and just got this news?
Mm. Journal, write everything down. Uh, Allow yourself to be pissed. Express that emotion, whatever emotion you're feeling. Um, Express it. You can go to the thrift store and get a pile of dishes. And I don't know, I live in the mountains, so I can go out into the mountains and throw a bunch of dishes at the rocks and then sweep them up and put them in a cardboard box and then throw them away. But expressing yourself, put on some loud music, allow yourself to dance and cry and move your body. I found that grief, I mean, when we move our body chemically, we know that it changes our brain. It changes our whole chemistry, our hormones. Uh, Exercise is proven to change the brain. So when you're feeling these heightened emotions, go move your body in the way that brings the most joy to you, and allow yourself the permission to feel your feelings, and then sit down and make a list of things that you need help with, and then figure out how to ask for help. What I learned is that people are so blessed when you ask them for help. We think we're being needy. We're not. We are actually allowing them to be blessed, because then they get to serve us, and people want to serve. People want to be of service. People want to love and help. We are pure love. So allow people to help you.
It
Yeah,
is a two-way gift, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, what I'm hearing really loud and clearly is to allow yourself to feel vulnerable and feel what you're feeling, and don't try to put on a strong face so that everybody else will be comfortable or not worry about you,
Right.
and honor what is happening and what is coming up for you, and don't stifle that.
Honor the self. Yeah. Yep. You're worthy of it.
That is so beautiful. I can't thank you enough for willing to come on camera with me and share your journey and your gifts. And I want to be sure to let everybody know that if you want to talk with Joanna in any phase of your journey that you're in, we'll be sure to put her contact information above this interview so that you can get in touch with her. And again, Joanna, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.